When you think of a racing game, chances are you think of the big three. Gran Turismo, Forza and Need for Speed are the racing juggernauts, but some would argue these franchises are starting to run out of fuel and are out of fresh ideas. Meanwhile, there are many unique racing IPs that challenge the conventions of the genre, and yet these games often sell poorly, whether it's due to bad release timing, a lack of marketing, or overly negative reviews. I'm Mark from RacingGames, and here are 5 underrated racing games. We've already revealed the most overrated racing games, so now it's time to look at those that really deserve more recognition. Have you ever heard the phrase being in the right place at the right time? Well, sadly, Grid Legends only got 1 out of 2 on that one. For some reason, Codemasters and EA decided to release Grid Legends just 1 week before Gran Turismo 7, one of the most anticipated racing games in years. Because of this, Grid entered the race already with a flat tyre. While Grid Legends received mostly positive reviews, player numbers were worryingly low on release, leaving the franchise's future in doubt. It's a shame because Grid Legends does a lot of things right. The Nemesis AI system makes for some exciting races, there's a wonderful variety of racing disciplines to try, the career mode is comprehensive, and the hop-in multiplayer eliminates waiting times in online lobbies. Even the Driven to Glory story mode is enjoyable, so long as you don't take it too seriously of course. A solid arcade racer and a massive improvement over the underwhelming 2019 Grid reboot, Legends is criminally underlooked. No other racing game makes you feel like you're in a Michael Bay movie quite like Split Second Velocity. In Split Second, you race for a reality TV show with a twist. The environments are rigged with explosive traps called power plays, which you can trigger to take out opponents. These range from jumbo jets crash landing on the track to crushing opponents with collapsing buildings. Not only do these explosive set pieces look spectacular and still impress today, but falling buildings change the layout of the circuit. Every lap is different as a result. Just think of Split Second Velocity as being the racing equivalent of a Battlefield game, with the map evolving as the race plays out. Like Grid Legends, the sales suffered because of bad timing. Split Second was released just 1 week before Blur and Mod Nation Racers, 2 other arcade racers with bold ideas. It also probably didn't help that Gran Turismo 5 and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit were released the same year as well. While it was well received by critics, Split Second was a commercial failure and only sold 86,000 copies in the first 10 days in the US. This meant Split Second sadly never got a sequel, after developer BlackRock Studios were closed by Disney Interactive Studios in 2011, despite the first game ending on a cliffhanger hinting at a prequel set in the 1980s. We're hoping Split Second will be revived one day. Just imagine the scale of destruction a sequel could deliver on the more powerful current-gen consoles. Before we move on, have you subscribed to RacingGames yet? Just 1 click and you're on the RacingGames grid. Oh, and hit that notification bell too so you never miss an upload. Alright, on with the video. Speak of the devil, and no, we're not talking about the 90s Britpop band today. Activision had high hopes for Blur. Prior to its release, the publisher boldly claimed Blur would do for racing games what Call of Duty did for shooters, with Blur set to continue Bizarre Creations' success with the Project Gotham Racing series. Blending real licensed cars with Mario Kart style power-ups, Blur was a unique concept. It was essentially Mario Kart for adults, something that has never been replicated in the racing genre. Races in Blur were gloriously chaotic, with players attacking each other with bombs and mines in BMW M3s and Ford Broncos. The tracks were just as unique too. We can't think of any other racing game that lets you tear through Brighton Pier. Neon-soaked visuals also gave Blur a unique, glossy visual style, and the audio design was superb, with thundering engine and power-up sound effects that need to be heard on the loudest home theatre system possible. Ultimately, Blur failed to find an audience. Creative director Gareth Edwards later admitted the concept was too confusing for audiences, comparing Blur's mix of real cars and over-the-top power-ups to eating bacon with cornflakes. A Blur sequel was planned but scrapped after Bizarre Creations shut its doors permanently in 2011. Since then, video footage has leaked online showing the Blur sequel that could have been, but at least we still have the original to enjoy. With Sony seemingly reluctant to bring back Wipeout, Redout is one of the best and underappreciated anti-gravity racing games in recent years. Developed by independent Italian studio 34 Big Things, Redout landed on PC and console back in 2016. but doesn't get the recognition it deserves. What set Redout apart was its unique control scheme. In Redout, the dual stick controls allow you to control the steering, pitching and strafing independently, giving precise control of your ship. Combine this with twisty tracks, a variety of game modes including boss races that link circuits into one giant track, and a mind-melting sense of speed, and Redout is a tough but rewarding game to master. It looks stunning too, with stylized visuals giving environments a distinctive art style, while the racing is accompanied with an excellent electronic soundtrack that suits the game's fast pace perfectly. If you have the stomach for it, you can even play Redout in VR on PC. Unfortunately, Redout failed to set sales on fire, and is rarely talked about anymore. This story does have a happy ending though, with Redout 2 landing this month. Let's hope the sequel finally gets the series the recognition it deserves. It's easy to forget that Driver was one of the earliest open world driving games. Before Grand Theft Auto 3 revolutionized the gaming world, Driver let you freely explore the 3D recreations of Miami, San Francisco, Los Angeles and New York in 1999. Yeah, that's right, the so-called Grand Theft Auto 3 copycat was actually released before Grand Theft Auto 3. The sequel even lets you get out of the car, explore the city on foot, and steal cars a full year before Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, pushing the original PlayStation to the limit. With the bug-ridden Driver 3 lambasted by critics and Parallel Lines written off, ironically, as a GTA clone, the series saw a sharp decline in the 2000s. Fans feared Driver was dead, until the series made a triumphant return with the release of Driver San Francisco in 2011. It took the series in a new daring direction, and there's no other driving game like it. Open worlds were nothing new in 2011, but Driver San Francisco shook things up with its unique shift mechanic. Once again, you played as undercover cop John Tanner, who ends up in a coma after an accident while in hot pursuit of crime lord Jericho. While in a coma, Tanner gains the ability to shift into other people's bodies and take control of their cars. It's a bizarre concept, but it worked, allowing players to teleport into cars instantly. This resulted in some fun scenarios. Struggling to catch up with the car you're chasing? Why not just teleport into a bus and smash into it head on? Trying to evade the cops? Why not become a cop? Thanks to Shift, the mayhem never stops in online multiplayer matches either. On a technical level, Driver San Francisco shined, running at 60 FPS on the PS3 and Xbox 360, something not many games from this era achieved. Sadly, Driver has been dormant since San Francisco released over 10 years ago to lukewarm sales. With a live-action TV show launching this year, we're hopeful that Driver will get the sequel it deserves soon. And that's our list. Have we missed out your favourite? Let us know in the comments below. For now though, thanks for watching. I've been Mark from RacingGames, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and now I'm off to prepare yet another delicious breakfast of bacon with cornflakes. What? It's only weird if you make it weird.